There's a saying that says, in order to get where you want to be, you must surround yourself with people who are on the same mission as you. That is what we're doing. That is who we are. That is why we are here. Willie Epstein Jr. on the bottom, Cory Ellison upper left, Michael James Hamilton upper right. Fellas, what's happening?
What's good, bro?
What's going down, Pippin?
Man, look at here. This is the highlight of the sports year, and we're going to get into it as we continue our NFL training camp roundup we have on tap for this episode. That will be the NFC North and the AFC South. A lot of things going on all over the landscape of the NFL Football League. We thank you for coming on to the Shakeback Sports Show, OT, powered by the Big Game Christian Sports Network. Once again, live, loud, and in color. And we thank you guys out there for checking us out on Facebook Live, as well as YouTube Live and Periscope. So you already know the proceedings, man. So we're going to get to it. Y'all ready to do this?
Yes, sirski.
Let's go. Already know what it is when you hear that music. Shakeback Show OT right here, man. iTunes, Spotify, as well as Google Podcasts. And we got a lot of exciting. Wait a minute. Hold up, fellas. Hold up.
So I'm going to take this first 6 minutes to let all of my sick listeners, all the listeners on BGC Sports Network, all of the listeners on BGC Sports Network 2, all of those listening across the oceans and divides in the jungles of Africa, on the backside of Antarctica, all of you are listening right now. We have to start a campaign that will neutralize, nay, shall I say, sterilize, nay, shall I say, interrupt. That's a very good word. Interrupt what is about to take place. Are you ready? All my sick listeners, are you ready? All my sick followers, are you ready? This is going to blow your mind. We've got to do this together, because if we do not do this together, then there will be no stopping it. Now, here's what we have to do. We must make it our sole mission number one, to stop Willie Epstein Jr. from being the first show on the BGC Sports Network to have a number one weekday show and a number one weekend show. We can't let this happen.
Man, the hate is real, bro. The hate is real. The hate is real. And it comes from your own. It comes from your teacher, your mentor, the one that has taught you everything that you know. And just in case y'all didn't know who that was Big Day. He is the dopest engineer in the game. He's also this sick host. He is also the host of this sick show that you can hear on the network on the 12s and 6s. I'm sorry, on the 11s and 5s and the 12s and 6s, BGSN1, BGCSN1, and BGCSN2, Monday through Friday. And that, of course, is because the gentlemen that are on this show or on this network or on this particular episode right now have had a hand in not only the hashtag Brothers of Baseball show being the number one listened to show on the network, but also the number one listened to show on the weekend, the Shake Back Sports Show. Thank you guys for your support, your love, your help, your contribution. I thought I would throw that in there because I had to have a conversation with that dude earlier on today, and I told him they smile in your face, but they backstab you. I thought that was pretty cool, man. So, all right, man, enough of nostalgia. Let's get to this, man. We're going to start in the AFC South. Those teams, Cory, they are the Indianapolis Colts. They are the Tennessee Titans, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Houston Texans. Big Mike, we're going to also go from there to the NFC North, which houses the Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, and Minnesota Vikings. So we're going to start in y'all's conference, the NFC. And let's go ahead and start with the Roundup. And let's start at the top because this team, by all accounts, is favorite. We're talking about the Green Bay Packers. Everything seems to be hunky. What is it? Hunky gory. They done sung Kumbaya, toasted the marshmallows, sipped some apple cider up there in Green Bay with Brian Gutekunst and all the rest of the brain trust between him and Aaron Rodgers. Big Mike, what's going on, man, in Green Bay? Is the soap opera done?
Well, I think the soap opera part is done. I believe that they came to the understanding that this is it. It's going to be the last ride. You know, we're going to do what we can to try to get it done this year, but I think they got an understanding that, you know, Aaron Rodgers want to do something different. I believe the front office actually wants to do something different, but because Aaron Rodgers had the season he had last year, there's no way you could justify to the fan base sending him on this year. See, at least with a year's worth of build-up and understanding that, okay, you know, he wants to be gone, we're going to give it one more shot, I think it's more palatable. But I think they both sides are at that point where, you know what, we're going to go and let you ride because we feel like we got something. And he wants to go get his last 3 or 4 years somewhere where he gets some say in what's going on. But they still the best team in that division. So, you know, nothing has changed to upset that part. You know, so I look for them to still, you know, to come out of that division.
Or is the soap opera over? Or is it just beginning?
To me, it's over. It's just sad, man, that it took this long for them to finally start listening to this dude. I mean, he's a leader of your team. Without him, you're nothing. And they will see that once he exit Green Bay. All he wanted, man, was to be heard. You know, of course, he has some diva stuff in him. Of course he does. But at the end of the day, all he wanted was to be heard and to be respected. And he should be finishing his career and retiring with Green Bay. And for that to possibly not be the case is sad. But again, it took this year for them to finally listen to what the man has been wanting. So as of right now, yes, it's good. Soap opera's over. He's happy. Everybody happy. They all on one page seem to be. So let's see what they do.
Let me piggyback on what Mike said just a second ago about his play and they being the front office people with the Packers. Talking when Mike said they probably are ready to move on from A-Rod. That probably is actually a definitely. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen what we saw with the moving up to get Jordan Love in the first round of the 2019 NFL draft. So it's not, to me, it's not probably ready. They are ready. And he himself, him being Aaron Rodgers said himself, I upset the plans of the Packers by winning the MVP. And we players, man, me and you, me, Cory, Mike, Jay, we players. We ain't upper management. So we rooting for the player. So my thing is this, is that I wish that he goes out here and duplicates what he did last year and leads the Packers to a spot that they haven't. Now, I'm not saying, let me say this. I want him to be the one that comes out of this smelling like a rose. Now, let's look at their Let's look at their depth chart. That's what I'm trying to say. I promise. Aaron Rodgers, of course, is number one. Jordan Love is the backup. Aaron Jones is the number one running back. They have A.J. Dillon and Dexter Williams, as well as Colin Hill. Don't know who he is. They got that bad man, Devontae Adams. Randall Cobb is back. Alan Lazard, Amari Rodgers, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who I think is very underrated. Tight ends, Robert Tonyan and Mercedes Lewis. Cory, they seemingly have returned everybody that they had from last year on the offensive side of the ball, with the exception of a couple key offensive linemen. The skill set, the skill players. Do the Packers really present one of the best set of skill players, not only in the NFC, but in the NFL?
I think on the offensive side of the ball, they're still one of the more explosive teams. Like you said, man, Devontae Adams, that dude is ridiculous. I don't know if Cobb is going to be that dude that he was when he exited Green Bay, but I think he does give, Rodgers that safety net, down the middle. And, of course, if the running back can stay healthy and Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, of course, especially within that division, you know what I'm saying? NFC South, NFC North, they're gonna run that. But I see them as one of the probably top 5, top 6 offenses in the NFC North. In the NFC.
Okay, so Mike, your team, and we're gonna get to the NFC West at some point before the season, but your team, the 49ers, their identity is defense. And it appears to me that Green Bay's potential Achilles heel could be the defensive side of the ball. Do you see this being a team that may have to beat teams, 38-31, 28-24, scores like that?
Just because they have Aaron Rodgers, they're going to always be a high, 28 to 35 point team just because of the offense that they have. And defensively, they're okay. The bigger problem I've seen with them in the last few years has been the ability for other teams to run the football on them. At least that's what the 49ers we've been able to do the last couple of years. But they have good pass rushing with the Smith brothers. They got a top-level cornerback. I can't think of Jair Alexander. Yeah, they got a top-notch corner over there. They got good pass rush. They got decent linebackers. So they're gonna be one. They're gonna be one of those defenses. I look for them to be top 15. And if you got an offense that's led by Aaron Rodgers, that's really all you needed to be top 15, top 12 on defense. And you're gonna be in every game.
And Green Bay is, by all accounts, the darling of the NFC North division, and why not? And with that being said, let's just move on to the next squad in the NFC North. Chicago Bears, much made of number one or the first round draft choice in Justin Fields. They did move up to get him. Andy Dalton, we talked about him when we did the NFC East when he was with the Cowboys last year. He's your number one quarterback. David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen's coming off of a lower leg injury. And talking about running back receivers, rather, Allen Robinson II. He does not get enough pub, in my opinion, as one of the better receivers in the NFL. Now, their weapons pretty much start and end with him. Big Mike, how long is it going to be before we just see Justin Fields take the field?
If he doesn't get the job coming out of camp, it'll be within the first 5 weeks. Because you already know what Andy Dalton is. He's a good placekeeper, good placeholder. If you need somebody to bridge a game, finish a game, or hold it down for a couple of weeks, he's that guy. But his ceiling is what it is. He's played enough football that we actually know pretty much what he is. Justin Fields represents the hope, the promise of what could be for the Chicago fans. He's a dual threat quarterback, good in the pocket, intelligent, had a lot of success in college. So I think they're eager to get him on the field. I don't think they're going to rush him. But if he beats out Andy Dalton in camp in the preseason, I see no reason why he shouldn't just start the season. Because once again, Andy Dalton generally a ticket to about 8-8 or 9-8 now, since we got that extra game. So if you already know that's what his cap is, you might as well let the youngster play.
Okay, so Cory, and we got social media people chiming in, man. Appreciate that. Our dude J Mott, let's get him in here. He says 100. I'm assuming he's talking about you boys because he can't be talking about me being 100. He's also said they need to take care of Adams. They being the Green Bay Packers. Alexander on the heels of your comment, Mike. Alexander is good. And then he says 3 games. I'm thinking he's talking about Justin Fields, about what you just said. Now, Cory, I mean, even though what Big Mike said is probably true and it probably needs to happen, we already know that it's not going to happen because of what Charles Nagy said even before OTAs and all of that other stuff about Andy Dalton is our number one. As a matter of fact, before the draft, he said Andy Dalton is our number one. Did he already shoot himself in the foot by saying that?
I don't think you should ever come out and say that unless it's a player, the caliber of, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, that type of player in the upper echelon where it's their job. I'm pretty sure, or I know with confidence, that the Chicago fan base wants their young superstar to come in and be the quarterback. So, it's already, Dalton already has it up against him, you know what I'm saying? Like the pressure. So I don't think he should have came out and said that. Like I said, unless you just have that stud quarterback that is locked and ready and is going to be your quarterback. It's just going to be interesting to see, man. I think the kid's ready, but I would rather much see him come in, like Mike said, like week 6, 7, and go from there. And just what Jay said, about Devontae Adams. If I was Adams, man, I wouldn't want them to give me no money. If I know my quarterback is leaving, I want to stay there.
Well, he said, as the engineer has posted his comment on the screen, saying that they need to take care of Adams too. Taking care of Adams might be letting him walk. Look at it from that standpoint. All right, but let's stick with the Chicago. Big Mike shaking his head. All right, let's go to the defensive side of the ball for the Chicago Bears because they've got a lot of big names over there. Khalil Mack, Hakeem Nicks, Roquan Smith, Danny Trevathan. They've got a lot of great names on that side of the ball. Eddie Jackson, probably one of the better safeties in the game. This defense, I mean, we're talking about the Bears as though they were a terrible team last year. Remember, they did go to the playoffs.
Yes, they did.
They did go to the playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
Okay, it's too early for that, Coach. So is the defense, Cory, or Big Mike, is the defense going to have to step it up an additional level during those first 3-4 games of the year, while Andy Dalton while the Bears are either waiting for Andy Dalton to mess up, or whether they're waiting for Justin Fields to really excel? Are they going to have to step it up a notch with all these names that I just mentioned?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, they have to do that out the gate anyway. Regardless of what the quarterback situation is, they got to come out and assert themselves defensively as one of the elite units in the NFL, because that's really where their known strength is. They're hoping for, an upgrade offensively with the quarterback, but that's their known quantity is the defensive personnel that they have. So they got to come out the gate, letting cats know, you're not getting ready to put up no whole bunch of points on us. They're one of those teams I could see them holding cats to 17, 20 points a game. And if you can hold teams to that, man, your squad got a chance to win every single week. You got the pass rush, the secondary has some very nice players, and the linebacking core is one of the better ones. Might not have names that just ring bells, but all those dudes can play. With the pass rush that they got, you always set the tone by putting pressure on every opposing offense that come in.
I think for the Bears, Khalil Mack is going to have to be Khalil Mack from 2015 and 16, and not Khalil Mack from 2019 and 20, simply because the Raiders are looking like the winners of this trade at this point, if you ask me, and that is my unbiased opinion, for real. But if
you know why they didn't win? Because none of those draft picks that you got from that have really blossomed into anything.
Yeah, but this is the thing, though, Mike, is that those are draft picks. We're talking about two first, second, or third year guys. Khalil Mack is a former NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He's a sack master. So the upside is where I'm at right now with that. And Josh Jacobs was actually a part of one of those packages. I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was that package or the package with the Cowboys. But either way,
I think Jacobs came with the Cowboys.
Okay, so since that's the case, then I look at it in terms of quantity or quality as opposed to quantity. Jacobs in that first round or in that class has proven himself to be what it is or what he is. And I don't want to get too much on that, but I'm just saying in terms of right now and what we've seen out of Khalil Mack, in terms of the Khalil Mack that we're used to seeing, the Khalil Mack that they traded all those picks for to get him, has not been that Khalil Mack that they wanted. That's what I'm saying. Not saying that
he's been that guy. The rest of them guys haven't been that guy. You know, you have to understand, as a pass rusher, and an elite pass rusher at that, you're going to have seasons where you get 15, 16 sacks. But 4 years ago, that was his norm. As an aged veteran, he's going to be an 11 or 12 sack guy. But what's the guy on the other end doing? Is he getting his 7 or 8 sacks? See, if that other guy on the other end don't do it, all they doing is sliding and protect. Matt going to always have an impact, but you may not get the total number of sacks. It takes a whole defensive line to get those kind of numbers.
Okay, so let's look at it from this standpoint then, because even say those guys on the other side aren't doing anything, that's on them that they're not doing anything. Khalil Mack was brought in to alleviate pressure on one side or the other for the defensive line. Even if he's getting doubled and triple teamed and those guys on the other side aren't doing anything, that's on them. But at the same time,
not Matt.
That's
not his fault.
But at the same time, that's why I say it could look to me as though the Raiders had won the trade, because the production from Mack and those other dudes that Mack sent there to affect is not there.
Fellas,
who went to the playoffs last year?
Let me ask y'all this, because y'all debating about the drafts. Let's get back to the subject. We talking about the Chicago Bears. Let me run this by y'all. Week 1, Rams. Week 2, Bengals. Week 3, Browns. Then they got the Lions, the Raiders, the Packers, the Buccaneers, the 49ers, the Steelers, the Ravens.
So you got about 7 really tough games out of them 10 you named.
Yep.
Yeah.
About 7 out of 10 games with games like you're like, man, you got to get with it. And once again, it's really gonna come down to what can they do offensively. That's really what it's gonna come down to. Can they score points?
To include in those games is either a reunion or a revenge game against the Raiders. Now, they've played each other. We played the Bears in London the first year that he got traded, and he was not heard from. His name was not called not one time in that game. And I look for hopefully more of the same as our offensive line continues to gel throughout training camp. And let's just get back to the NFC Central or NFC North, because you guys are about to get me on 10. All right, let's move to the Detroit Lions, man.
Y'all.
Yeah, Michael James Hamilton.
Hey, one team went to the playoffs with the guy that got booted. One team didn't go to the playoffs with all them draft picks. That's all I was saying.
That ain't okay. Detroit Lions. Jared Goff is now your quarterback in the Motor City. This team looks like an NFL Europe team on paper. Their biggest name, probably other than Goff, is T.J. Hockenson, the tight end, and DeAndre Swift out of the running back out of Georgia. Now they also have Jamal Williams backing him up. Their receiver core is Quintez Cephas. Who is that? Shad Perriman. I know that name. But other than that, Penei Sewell, who they drafted in the first round. I think that's the thing that they got right. Detroit Lions, Cory. Is this the franchise where players' careers go to die?
Yes. I believe so. Man, when is the last time that they've had a good team? Like, even Barry Sanders years.
When they lost to the Cowboys in the playoff. No, did they beat the Cowboys
No,
or the Bears catch?
They
that was the last time they was good.
That's the last time they were good, and they got cheated that game because of the pass interference. But anyway,
just like we did with Green Bay, but who's keeping count?
You are, because you said that. Okay, Cory. So back to the Lions. So yeah, they haven't been. Look, we have cousins on the show. We got a tape blurb from Luther and Brandon Wilkins, my cousins that actually live in Detroit, and they have been Detroit fans since the beginning. And they said something that really resonated with me with regard to Jared Goff and Matt Stafford. They say Matt Stafford was so beloved in Detroit that Jared Goff is going to have some huge shoes to fill, or some huge shoes to fill, or fill, whatever. Not only just in the locker room, on the field, but in the community. And it sounds like to me that the Lions, Cory, and I don't know if you have their schedule pulled up in front of you, but it seems to me that a Lions team that has already gone 0-16, they've gone 2-14 before. They haven't won a playoff game since 1981, I believe it is, for a team or for a franchise that had one of the better receivers. Oh, by the way, congratulations to all of the Hall of Fame inductees from yesterday. They had one of the best wide receivers to ever play the game, Calvin Johnson. And Barry Sanders, they've been one of the best running backs, and they have been mired in mediocrity at best. Big Mike.
Yes,
Look
sir.
at me. Big Mike. Look at me.
I'm looking at this depth chart, man. I don't know nobody play for Detroit. I know everybody. Man.
So yeah, and just speak on it, because I mean DeAndre Swift, we don't really know what he's going to be. I think that, like I said, Penei Sewell was a good pick in the first round for them.
Very good pick.
Yeah, but they moved him to right tackle. I believe he played left tackle at Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we looking at a team as Cory pulls up the schedule that could be looking at another 0-16 or 2-14 season?
Oh man, I would hate to think that, in the modern NFL, that you could go 0-16 again. I don't think that they're gonna be that bad. Because I might be in the minority. I think Jared Goff can play. Jared Goff can throw the football. Now, what we don't know is what's his true quarterback IQ. That's what the question is. Sean McVay took a lot of the credit for the success that the kid did have. So we're going to find out really, what he is made of. But I think he's got talent. I like the tight end, what you say, Hockenson. He's cool. They got Jamal Williams from the Green Bay Packers in the backfield mix. We'll see if he gets some spin with DeAndre Swift. But, once again, in the division with Aaron Rodgers, then with the Vikings, man, that's going to be tough. If they go 6-10, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Ain't going to happen.
No.
They ain't going to get the 6.
Read it off.
49ers week 1. Green Bay week 2.
Yeah, we got them right out the gate. They got to take that L.
Ravens week 3. Bears week 4. Vikings week 5. And then Bengals, Rams, Eagles, Steelers, Browns. They got to play the Broncos. They got to play the Falcons, the Seahawks.
Man, that's like I say, and not knowing truly a lot of those players, and maybe these guys gonna come up and beat somebody. I just don't know, man. That's tough sledding right out the gate, though, man. That's a
Yeah.
tough team they got to play. New
Yeah.
coach, new quarterback,
Mhm.
man. That
Mm-hmm.
hey man, somebody got to take that L. Somebody got to be fourth. Somebody got to be fourth in the division.
They coach said they're gonna bite ankles off.
And Dan Campbell, as mediocre as he was as a football player, man, ain't nobody trying to hear that, man.
He wasn't that bad as a tight end, dude. Come
He was
on,
a
now.
Hey man, anytime they label you as the blocking tight end, you mediocre at your best.
He got paid, and
I'm not talking about no money. I'm not talking about no money. I'm talking about your productivity.
That's the
Sam Bradford got paid.
No, he stole from folks.
Once again, I'm just saying.
You know what, man? I got some show ideas, man, that I want to run by y'all, man. About some quarterbacks and reality TV. Stay tuned for that. That's gonna be tight. Shout out to Jeff Okuda, man. He is, of course, the local kid out of South Grand Prairie High School, the third overall, or he was their third pick, I want to say, from last year's draft. He's a good one. But Detroit, man, it's gonna be a long year for you guys.
That's one of those places you end up in Detroit either by a bad trade or because you're just trying to stay in the league and keep getting paid. Yeah, that's not a destination at all.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the Minnesota Vikings, man. Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Chad Irv Smith Jr., and those dudes, as far as the skill set goes. The defense, they got paid, actually, Danielle Hunter got paid. They have a couple of great people in the secondary with Harrison Smith. Anthony Barrs is a pretty good linebacker as well. Okay, so let's talk about Kirk Cousins because he is that dude that likes that. And he turned, 3 consecutive franchise tags in Washington?
To
an all guaranteed 3-year, $84 million contract in Minneapolis.
And then another one.
And then another one. So what are we looking at, man, let me ask you this. Big Mike, rate Dalvin Cook on your big board in the NFL in terms of how good is he as one of the better running backs in the National Football League?
Oh, he top 5. He definitely in the top 5 in running backs. Yeah, his productivity and his ability to make things happen during the game is up there. He amongst the best of the guys. He not King Henry, but he up there in that mix with them other guys. That other than that top 5, he's there.
Jay said, play action is going to be the Lions game. Well, I mean, DeAndre Swift hasn't proven anything yet, so we'll see. But anyway, back to what you just said about Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook, man, let me tell you what impressed me about Dalvin Cook. Because when he was at Florida State, and oh, by the way, can we just send our thoughts and prayers and condolences to Bobby Bowden and his family? He went home to be with the Lord after the age of 91. Two national championships at Florida State in 2003 and 2009, I believe it was. Coached some of the most prolific players in the NFL, to include Deion Sanders and Derrick Brooks and so many others. The legacy that he left on the field, more importantly off the field, will forever go on. So our prayers and thoughts and well wishes go out to Bowden family. What impressed me about Dalvin Cook is that he can actually run between the tackles. I was concerned about that when he came out of Florida State. The one that was probably, if there was a knock on him, that was the knock on him, because he could do everything else. He was a speedster. He could pick up the blitz, and he could catch the ball out of the backfield. And all those things he has translated well into the NFL. And I think he surprised a lot of these so-called experts by being that back that can actually play all 3 downs. Cory, what say you?
I agree, man. He is definitely one of the best backs in the league. Like Mike said, top 5. To me, he may be top 3. He's just that good, man. He's evolved. Like you said, coming out the draft, I didn't think he was going to be the back that he is now. So he's fully evolved, and hard to bring down. Like I said, between the tackles, he can catch out the backfield. He does it all, man. So I think they're going to be good. But as always, I just go back and look at schedules, man, and they got some tough sledding coming out the gate. They have the Bengals, Cardinals, Seahawks, Browns, Lions, that's a dub, Panthers, that's a dub, Cowboys, Ravens, Packers, Vikings, 49ers. So they got some tough games too. It seemed like this whole division coming out the gate, it's going to be tough sledding, and they're going to beat up on each other. So at the end of the day, once it's said and done, is when the smoke clears, who has the best record in that division, I guess. But we all know it's going to be Green Bay.
But yeah, and I think the Vikings are going to be markedly better. I think that Justin Jefferson has become one of those receivers that you really can't guard. I think him and Adam Thielen, who I actually owe an apology to. I said last year that he was going to feel the brunt of not having Stephon Diggs on the other side, and his production didn't drop off. Now, a lot of that has to do with Jefferson, I know, but he is way better than I gave him credit for, and I apologize to him for that. Kirk Cousins
you think Patrick Peterson gonna add something to the team?
He can. Well, let's let Mike answer that question, because his team plays or saw Patrick Peterson, twice a year.
Well, Patrick Peterson gives them a man-to-man veteran that they can trust. One thing about Mike Zimmer, he likes veteran corners. He got to have youth in the secondary, but he always likes a veteran guy to be around to help kind of pass his message on, or he can relay his message too. Pat Peterson's still a good man-to-man corner, but like most older corners, elite speed get on him. Mm-hmm. You put that elite speed against them, and especially if they playing press man or single high, you can get him because he's older. He don't have the same wheel. Now, he's got the intelligence and the understanding, but when you put that elite speed out there, your faster guys that you're gonna have to cover, you can still get at those guys. But Minnesota, because Mike Zimmer's their coach, they're gonna always be solid defensive. They're gonna always put good defense on the field. They're going to rush the quarterback. Like you said, Daniil Hunter got paid. They're going to always rush the quarterback well. Anthony Barr is a stud at linebacker, so he leads the linebacking core. Then you got the dude was at Harrison Smith, and then they got the corner from Clemson, McKenzie, whatever his name. I like him too. So they got a good, solid defense. Patrick Peterson, he can play in the slot. He can travel. If you got a guy that you want to, hey, we're going to follow this guy all game long, you can do that with him. So he does add something to their secondary.
No doubt. And, I can only imagine the battles in training camp going on between him and Jefferson, the two boys from LSU. Yeah, I can only imagine. That's actually going to make both of them better as
iron sharpen iron.
That's right. So, all right, fellas, good stuff, man, on NFC North. Let's move to the AFC South. Indianapolis Colts, Tennessee Titans, Houston Texans, as well as who am I missing? Jaguars. Let's start there. Number 1 overall pick, the savior himself, Mr. Sunshine. That's what they're deeming him as. And look, I was a Trevor. Let me put it this way: when he was at Clemson, I was a fan of his. I love it it's like they said on Love and Basketball, never let a freshman take your spot. and that's what Kelly Bryant did when he was at Clemson. He let Trevor Lawrence take his spot. I like this squad, man. I like Lawrence. I like Etienne Jr., James Robinson. There was a lot of question as to why they drafted Travis when they had James Robinson, who rushed for 1,000 yards last year. Their receiver core is better than people think, with DJ Chark Jr., Marvin Jones Jr. Okay, this is the receiver room of juniors, and Chenault Jr. Then they got Philip Brissett, who's also a second, and they just signed Tavon Austin earlier in the week. They got my boy at left tackle, Cam Robinson. What up to his mom, Priscilla, and your daddy, Steve Foley? He still owe me $25 from the pool game. I want my money. His dad played for the San Diego Chargers at linebacker back in the day, y'all.
I remember him.
Yeah. So check this out, man. How are we feeling about Urban Meyer and everything he has brought in here? Tim Tebow, this is a trip because I'm looking at the depth chart and Tim Tebow's name is on the depth chart. What up with that, Mike?
Well, I mean, that's the power of, knowing people in the right places, man. He's on that roster strictly because Urban Meyer is the coach. But I think he has a chance to actually make this squad and actually contribute. See, I can see Urban Meyer deploying. He's going to be an H-back. I don't believe he's going to be a traditional inline tight end. But he's going to be the move guy just to get him in space to catch the ball. And you're going to have to watch him inside the 10-yard line because now you bring all the stuff that he could do at Florida. All that stuff is in play. You can line him up in the backfield. You can send him in motion, handing the ball. He can do the jump pass. You can hand it to him and let him run it. So I think he's actually going to make this team and actually contribute. Now, I ain't saying he's going to be no Pro Bowler or nothing like that, but I think he actually has some use there with that organization.
Boy, that reminded me of when Ving Rhames told Tyrese on Baby Boy, "Now I ain't trying to be your daddy." Cory, excuse me, is this? Oh my gosh. Anyway, Cory, so the defensive side of the ball for Jacksonville, and I know you schedule. You know what? Let me just mention this, and then because you're the schedule expert of the OT. So let me just talk about the defense a little bit. Shaquille Griffin comes over from the Seahawks. Sidney Jones IV, who is highly touted out of the University of Washington, is there. Kalavon Chasen is there, linebacker. Also, Miles Jack is there. C.J. Henderson, who they got in the trade in the draft from Florida. This Malcolm Brown is anchoring the middle of this 3-4 defense. The names are there, and I forgot. I don't remember who Meyer brought in to be his D coordinator. I'm sure somebody that he's had relationships somewhere. But looking at the schedule, Cory, in the beginning, can we see this Jags team, man, actually surprising some people in the first 4 or 5 games?
Man, they play. I don't think so. They're young. I think in a couple of years they're gonna be something to be reckoned with. If Urban Meyer comes in and does his thing, and these young players buy into what he's doing, they're developing and drafting talent. So in the future, yes, but as of right now, for 2021, no. They start out with the Houston Texans, which they could possibly win that game. Then they got the Broncos, Cardinals, Bengals, Titans, Dolphins, Seahawks, Bills, Colts, 49ers, Falcons, Rams. It's going to start like this, and
go probably in like that too. All right, man. Let's move to the Indianapolis Colts. Big Mike, when you go to work tomorrow, tell Slim I said what's up, man, and that I'm sorry that his quarterback got knocked out. Are you there, Mike?
Yeah, man. Man, for Carson Wentz, he got to be wondering what he did in a past life to keep getting this stuff happening to him. But as bad as Carson Wentz hurting his foot is, Quentin Nelson hurting his foot, to me, is even worse. Because Carson Wentz is coming over as you hope he is. Quentin Nelson is the best left guard in the league. And if he's hurt, that means your line has taken a precipitous hit. So all the run game, all of the passing game schemes and concepts you have to be adjusted because the best guy that you have isn't there. Carson Wentz was one of those guys where if everything went right, he'll be good. But he already starting off, no pun intended, on the wrong foot. He come out, and he's one of those guys. He really has to prove to people, that you really are what everybody has said you were. For the past, I guess he's been in the league now, 5 years? He's always been touted as this, he has this ceiling. He's got this talent, and he does have talent. But mentally, he got destroyed in Philly, and he was on his resurrection tour. So
Right.
to get hurt in camp, miss this time, and you can't tell me missing this camp is not gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt because these guys don't know you. They've never been to battle with you, so they don't know. They don't know you like that. And the backup situation behind them is a bunch of guys that are unproven. Now they gonna have their chance, but you know, Carson Wentz, man, I don't know what to tell him. If nothing else, he gonna leave this game with a lot of money. I don't know how many accolades he gonna have, but he gonna leave with a lot of money. But that's a downer. Slim trying to hide it, but he's hurt.
I know he is. Yeah, I know he is, and this is the reason why they drafted Jacob Eason out of Washington. Of course, he transferred to Washington from Georgia after getting injured and losing his starting job to some dude named Jacob Fromm. Big kid, 6'4", 6'5", strong arm. Can really spin it. Their running back room consists of Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, Naheem Hines, who those three dudes together, man, they got
really, a nice run game.
They're really, really good. And just like Jay said about the Lions, you could see them doing a lot of play action with T.Y. Hilton and Michael Pittman Jr., man, who's actually emerged as well. All right, Corey, on the defensive side of the ball for the Colts, I want to focus on one player, and he got paid, I think 2 days ago, and that is probably the best weak side linebacker in the NFL, one Darius Leonard. He's a tackling machine. He didn't win AFC or defensive rookie of the year, did he? If he didn't, he should have. He just got paid 5 years, $99.8 million. I think $70 million of it was guaranteed. Yes, Corey. They also have a couple people on the line on the D line, DeForest Buckner, who Big Mike is familiar with.
First team all pro.
Yes. So is the defense? It's kind of like what we said about the Bears, because for me these teams seem to be eerily similar. Is this defense going to be up to snuff those first few games of the season? I know you got the schedule pulled up in front of you.
I don't think they will, just because on the offensive side of the ball, I don't think they're going to have what they need. So the defense is they're going to consistently be on the field, and when you're consistently on the field, you know, three downs and out, that's just going to put more pressure on their defense and tire them out. So based on the quarterback being hurt, I think that's going to affect the defense, and it's just going to put a cloud over this team overall. But looking at the schedule, week 1, they got the Seahawks. Then they got the Rams. Then they got the Titans. Then they got the Dolphins. Then they got the Ravens. Then they may get a dub against the Texans. Then they got the 49ers, Titans again. They got to play the Bills, got to play the Buccaneers. So it's going to be tough sledding, man.
I heard 2-7 in that thing.
Got to play your Raiders. So yeah, it's going to be tough sledding, man.
Yo, when you started naming off those teams in the order that you did, I started crying, bro, for them.
That's a legit schedule. Brutal. Yeah, that's a legit schedule right there.
Mike, tell Slim, tell the boys in the barbershop, man. What up, Stevie J? What up, Slim? What up, Chris? What up, fellas? I miss y'all, man. Tell the boys in the barbershop you need to lead the suicide watch for Slim for those first 9 weeks.
Slim is the eternal optimist when it comes to the coast. He gonna find some sunshine in any cloudy day. So it ain't no telling. Hey man, I'll tell you what. Don't be surprised to see Phillip Rivers back on this team before the season starts.
Yeah. And I bet you they're watching him. In the spotlight, and the camera is definitely on Eason, Ellinger, and whoever that other dude was. Who was it?
They got my boy Sam Ellinger.
Yeah, Brett Hundley is fourth on the depth chart. All right, let's move to the Houston Texans. I really just want to ask y'all one question about the Texans. Will he or won't he be there by the trade deadline? And you know who the he is. I ain't gonna even mention his name.
For Houston?
Yeah. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh.
By the trade deadline, no.
No, I think he'll be gone.
He's going to be gone. And I pray to God he doesn't go to the team that I'm hearing whispers about.
Oh, the Redskins, though, you better hope them Redskins.
No, they talking about Philadelphia.
Ain't no Redskins, bro.
I'd rather go to the Redskins.
Ain't no Redskins. Who was that?
No Redskins, man.
Oh, the Washington football team. I forgot. I forgot, man. Hey, man. Hey, that's the dude that football practice with the tape on his helmet, man. My bad. I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tyrod Taylor, Davis Mills, who is the quarterback out of the University of California. They've got David Johnson, a one-time fantasy league Jim, Philip Lindsay, and Mark Ingram II is third on the depth chart. And they got they got some good names at running back, but all of these dudes, with the exception of Lindsay, who we have found out really is not that good, although he had a great rookie year. These dudes ain't really all that, man. They got Brandon Cooks on the outside, your boy Kiki Kuti, who has probably the best name ever. Larry Tunsil, who look, man, I feel bad for the fans of the Texans because they deserve better than this. They were the last team to get indoctrinated as an expansion squad, and Houston is a great sports city, but they deserve better than this. Shaq Lawson on the defensive side, Whitney Merciless, Malik Collins, your old boy from the Cowboys, Cory, and mine from the Raiders. Justin Reed at safety. He's one of the better ones out there. I just feel bad for the Texans fans because they deserve better than this, man. All right, last one. Who we got? Tennessee Titans. Oh my gosh. What they did. Okay. So now let's look at we saved the best for last. Okay. How underrated is Mr. Tannehill? Big Mike.
I think he's probably rated correctly. I don't think he's not elite, but he's a better than average quarterback. He get in there, you put him in that top 12 somewhere down in there. He does his job. He really does help move their offense, and he got some mean weapons. Now, if he can't light that fire this year, hey man, I don't know what to tell you. You got Julio and AJ Brown and Derrick Henry. I mean, that's legit weaponry right there. And I think he's good enough to take advantage of it. Their biggest issue last year was defensively. Can they slow people down? Can they keep their secondary intact? That's more of their problem. But Ryan Tannehill, I think he's rated about where he's supposed to be. The big problem with that is if you look at NFL in the NFL and NFL history, good quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. It's elite quarterbacks. That's just really what it is. Your quarterback is either elite and you win the Super Bowl, or he's good and he gets you to the playoffs. Other than Eli Manning in the last probably 25, other than Eli in the last 25 years, all the quarterbacks that win.
What about the Raiders quarterback?
Who, Oakland?
When did we go to Super Bowl?
I said Ravens.
Oh, Ravens.
Talking about Joe Flacco.
I know it was a defense. Yeah.
No. Joe Flacco.
But in that Super Bowl year, he played at an elite level. He wasn't an elite quarterback, but that Super Bowl year and especially that playoff run, he played at an elite level. Now he was playing to get paid, so that probably helped boost his desire to play at that level. But and even if you want to throw him in just really good quarterbacks really don't win. Your quarterback has to either be elite or you don't win.
And I think two things. One, Joe Flacco played everybody when he got that contract. And then number two, I think the quarterback Cory was actually talking about is Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, Dilfer.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the 2000? Yeah. No. He was definitely not elite. He was definitely not elite.
That defense was.
But if we ain't gonna give up but 9 points every week,
and to their credit, man, that was a different NFL. That was a totally different NFL than what we see now. Big Mike, you mentioned them on the defensive side. They got Jack Rabbit at one corner. They have Caleb Farley at another corner. Kevin Byard, man, who I think was one of the better safeties in the game. He got paid not that long ago. He needs to step it up again this year. Bud Dupree at linebacker. They got the names, man. But I think, man, with Julio Jones, over under. Over under, Cory. You ready?
Yep.
Number of targets for Julio Jones in 2021. I'm setting the mark at 105.5. Over under.
Under.
So do we think that it's going to be more of an equal distribution? Because you got to think about it. AJ Brown on one side, Julio Jones on the other side. You got a monster. You got a monster Tonka trunk in the backfield. That's a lot of touches, man, for that team that many people seem to believe is right there on the doorstep of really contending for the Super Bowl. They have everything in place offensively to beat the Chiefs, if you ask me. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, man. Y'all boys got any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
One more thing on the Titans. Biggest thing they got to address is pass rush.
Yeah.
You know, if they can't generate more pass rush, you know, offensively throughout the season, you're gonna be good. But when you get down, when you gotta play Buffalo, you gotta play Kansas City, you gotta go play Baltimore, you're gonna have to be able to rush the quarterback.
Cory, what you got?
I'm good, brother.
What? Really?
Gonna jump into some of this summer league. You know how I do.
Summer League, NBA basketball is on and cracking. All right. Well, that's going to do it, man. Shake Back Sports Show, OT. Big Game Christian Sports Network powered by Big Mike. What's up? Cory Ellison. What it do? J Mott, who's absent. Willie Epstein Jr., man, reminding y'all, stay safe. Hug each other. Love each other. Mask up. And y'all take care of one another. And we'll holler at y'all again real soon. Peace. We out.
Peace.